Today we're looking at this sheet. This is called Chocolate Bar Shapes, and it's about designing shapes, possible shapes for your chocolate bar. It says here, in the box below, draw a minimum of 3 chocolate bar shapes in 3D. Use pencils to shade them to look as convincing as possible. You can add annotation describing the designs and the possible target market. So I've started already with a chocolate shape here. I've annotated it, saying about the shape and saying what I liked about it. I could add a little bit of shadow here just to make it a little bit more convincing, or I could leave it as it is. So there's one shape, and I'm going to draw a second. I need to do 3. I can do them anywhere on here, and I'm going to try and do another shape. Now I'm going to use a technique called crating. So crating is drawing a box around the shape, or a box that will contain the shape that you're eventually going to produce. Now this is kind of the same as the previous thing we did with the isometric. So you can see there I've drawn a cuboid crate, but I've drawn it very lightly. The camera's picking it up, but barely. Now I'm going to add my shape on the end. I'm going to sketch out my shape on the end, and you might want to even add the other frames, because I'm going to add that shape there. Then once I've got my crate and my shapes on the end, I can add some more detail. And then just, once I've roughed out my shape, I can then, using a rubber, take out the lines from my crate. Now there's a couple of options here. You can line in or line out the outline of your shape once you're confident. If you draw it lightly and you're not happy with it, you can use the rubber to take out the lines. But what I'm going to do, just because it shows up better on the camera, is I'm going to use my fine liner here, and I'm not going to use a ruler. You might want to use a ruler, but I'm going to freehand add the outline because it will match the one above here. And I'm going to add the outline of the chocolate bar shape that I've thought up. I'm just going over the lines I need. Okay, you can possibly, on the outer edge, just add a little bit more weight to the lines. That just brings the shape out. Now I'm going to let the ink there on the fine liner. So there's my chocolate bar shape. As soon as that's dry, now I've seen I missed a line there, so stand that in. Now, there's several ways you could tackle this. You could do your 3 shapes and then add the shading and annotation, or you can shade like I've done, complete one shape, complete the next shape. So this is now a shape for a chocolate bar. It's a kind of semicircular chocolate bar. You could shade it using pencil. I'm going to use just 2 colours of coloured pencil to do a chocolate kind of look, but you could even use other colours. I mean, there's mint chocolate and things like that, so if you wanted to, you could use other shading. I'm going to use some the shading techniques that we've practiced previously to add some just basic outline colour to it. Then over burnishing, going see that I'm going over the shape again. Where it's in shadow, I could just pick out some of these highlights with a lighter colour, blending the colours as we practiced. Now I'm not going to add the annotation, I'm going to leave that there. So 1, 2 now, I need to do, it says here a minimum of 3, if you can do 4 that's great. The challenge task here, if you'd like to have a go at the challenge task, is the target market. Think of who these chocolate bar shapes would be good for. Are they for a particular target market? So that is the chocolate bar shapes task, and there's 2 completed. We need another 1 or 2 on there.